Hey, well, it's the end of the season, and I wanted to go over something I started doing this year and as a way to have a better idea of what's going on at my colony during the season. I've got over 150 nesting cavities, and there's no way I can keep track of everything in my head. I keep pretty good nest records. I'll check my birds, once every 5 to 6 days, but I never have the records with me when I'm just out in the yard. And I've always wanted to find a way to mark the cavities so that I know what's going on. Well, this year I came up with what I'm calling the ChirpyNest Key. The key is actually a label that hangs from a chirpy nest, and when I do nest checks, I can keep right on here what's going on, and when anything changes, I'll notate it on the key, and then I'll have a visual record of what's happening in the cavity. I put these on when a nest becomes active. A nest becomes active when it gets at least one egg. Now you always, since martins lay eggs one a day until the last egg is laid and start incubating upon the second to last egg, I always wait till the second nest check to, nest check a few days after that initial um, one where I mark it active to mark the number of eggs in that cavity. So when I first put on a tag, I'll, these tags have notches where they hook together. Right between the top notches, I will put the number of eggs that I find upon a nest check to call that cavity active, and I'll put it between these notches. Now, if I keep track of the age of the female and the male, I'll put males on the left, female on the right. So if we have an adult male and a subadult female, I'll put AS. I don't have those records at hand a lot because it does take a whole lot more time to get that information, but hopefully in the future I will. Um, but anyway, once I consider that cavity active, I'll put this I'll put this tag under the locking tab just like that. I'll have it facing that way so that because I don't want them facing this way because they don't fit on natural. So put them on like that. The tag hangs down. It takes a little get used to seeing the tags hang down, but it's kind of cool because you know something's active. Tag's always moving around. All right, upon the next check, when I confirm the final number of eggs, I'll write that number between these notches. And I'll try to put it in a size large enough that it's easy to read from the ground. When those eggs hatch, below this notch, I'll write the number of young that we have. In this case, let's say all 5 hatched. Um, if something happens and you lose a young, let's say if it's thrown out by some subadult males and you come back the next time you only have 3 young, then I will put a 3 under here. A 3 under the first hatch number means that 2 young disappeared. If you find dead young in the nest, let's say I found 2 dead young in the nest, then I'll take a mark through that 5 and put a 3. That tells me something else about what happened in that cavity this year. At the bottom of the tag, I'll write the early possible fledge date. Once you have all the eggs laid, then you can calculate that. And I'll write, let's say it's 23. For me, 23 means June 23rd. If it goes into July as an early fledge date, then I'll write 7, 8, or whatever the date. But at this point, the least amount of writing I have to do on these tags, the better. Most of the tags will stay like that throughout the season. And then when the birds fledge, I'll come in and I'll circle. Once I circle, I'll know that cavity fledged the number of young that's in that circle. It's a simple way to mark your cavities. I've tried in the past to mark them by writing on the housing, put a piece of tape right on the housing so it's easy to take off. I've done it a couple different ways, but I got frustrated and thought it's not worth the effort. But this is a really simple method. If you're buying houses, ChirpyNest houses from me this year, I'm putting some of these tags with your order in order to let you try it out. These tags are available from a company called DP Industries, I think, and I think it's dpind.com. It's a horticultural supply company, but I don't think they have minimums. You can get a variation of this tag from Amazon, but those are only like 5/8 inch wide. I like the wider tag because it gives you room for more information. At the end of the season, I will come in and I'll take these tags off and I'll write the cavity, in this case H1, on that tag, and I can keep it as a record of what happened in that cavity this year. Or I can throw them away and use new tags next year. I just thought that might be a cool little record to keep since they're, they're long lasting. This is a vinyl tag designed to be out in the weather, so it works out perfect. But anyway, call this the ChirpyNest Key. I came up with this around the Memorial Day this year and used it for the balance of the season. I may work out a few more methods on here, but I think that's a simple rundown. And you can, if you want to try that out, some of these tags can probably be found from a local garden center or plant store that sells outdoor plants, because that's what they do. They just wrap them around and plant and put them on. I did find that sometimes in a windy rainstorm, these tags will get wet and they blow up and they might stick to the bottom of the cavity. To kind of try against that, I've put a piece of white duct tape on the back of these. I'll try it next year and just see if that made any difference. But anyway, the ChirpyNest Key, thought you might like to try it and let me know what you think.